only mode.
Good morning and welcome to our Top Making Money Tips webinar. My name's Beth and I'm going to be taking you through our webinar today. So to get started, I'm just going to go through the housekeeping first. So your speakers must be turned on so that everyone can hear this webinar. My microphone is on and everybody else has automatically been muted. And if you're having any technical difficulties, trouble with your sound or with viewing the screen, then if you can just type it into the chat box. And if you've got any questions throughout the webinar, then we just ask that you type them into the chat box and then we'll review them at the end. Brilliant. Okay, so today what we're going to go through, we're going to talk about the ways that we can measure as well as boost our future revenue. So we're looking at the ways that we can measure what's going on within Shortcuts, and it's mainly through our reporting. So there's a couple of reports that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at our future appointment report, our rebooking breakdown, and how to pinpoint our top selling products and services, and also how we can accurately measure employee performance. I'll give you a few tips throughout as to things that you can do with that information to try and help your staff sell more for the business. So before we start looking at the reports themselves, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into Shortcuts and I'm just going to give you a quick overview of how to actually pull up a report and some of the information. So as I'm talking about information and how you get that information through Shortcuts, you'll understand exactly where it comes from. So within Shortcuts, if we needed to go and view our reports, it's under our Tools tab at the bottom. And it's under something called Reports at the side. Brilliant. I'm just waiting for you guys to catch up, Brill. So roughly there's around about 100, 120 reports within Shortcuts, and you can view them at any time, and it's always worth going in and spending a little bit of time looking at the reports. You'll find that there's some reports that do cross over slightly, and just bear in mind that when you're looking at the reports themselves, there are factors that affect the reports. So for example, if you're looking at your prices and then you're changing your prices at point of sale rather than applying a discount, that can affect your reporting values with Shortcuts itself. Also making sure that your client data is correct, because that does impact on some of the reports as well. So to view a report, I'm just going to open up what we call our trading summary. So you've got your pluses down the side, and these are categorized reports. So under our end of day, we then have, these are all our cashing up and end of day reports, and there's one called the trading summary. I click on the report, and then there's a view button at the bottom. So by clicking on view, it's then going to open it up to ask us for parameters. Okay, so on this screen you can see that we've got a date range option at the side, and here we've got options to do set date, so I can look at the current day, the current week, or I've got the options to do last day, last week, last month, or next. I can also look at a reference. So reference is one particular date. So if I just wanted to look at that report for one particular date, I can just click on the little calendar at the side and choose the date that I wanted. And I've also got a date range, so I can choose a from date and a to date, again just by clicking on the calendar. And then I can choose the date that I want my report to start and the date I want my report to end. You'll also see down the side in some of the reports that we have within Shortcuts, we have this miscellaneous button. And it's this button that I'll refer to throughout, so it's worth knowing exactly what this does. And what it does is it allows you to break down that report even further. So on our reports that cover figures, you'll see that we'll always have this option to display the figures excluding tax. So we can look at our reports excluding and also inclusive of VAT. And again, it's just a case of just clicking on it and changing. It's a drop-down option from no to yes. You'll also see that on some of the reports we can then look at particular breakdowns for our employees, our products, our services. So wherever you see that miscellaneous button, it's always worth having a little look and seeing what the parameters are, and this will just give you a little bit more information within that report and breaks down some of that information. Brilliant. Okay, so that's just a quick guided tour of our reports. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go back onto my PowerPoint. Cool. So as I said, our learn outcomes. So the first one that we're going to look at is our future appointments. So to locate our future appointment report, so in Shortcuts we would go to Tools, Reports, under Appointments, and then we've got a value of future appointments. So this report can be run for any period. The suggested period is that it's short term, i.e. next week, but you can look at it for next month for extended results. So the idea of this report is to give you an idea of what's currently booked in. So what we're looking at is the appointments that are booked into the system, and then we can look at how many we've got booked and what the values of those reports are, and it will also break it down per employee as well. So to give you an overview, so these again was the parameters for selecting the report. Again, you can choose the date ranges, and this is the report itself. Brilliant. So this is showing the report for next week. So you'll see here it gives us an outline of each employee and their percentage of appointments. So it totals the percentage of their appointments overall. So we'll see that Kate at the moment has got the highest percentage, she's got 23, and her total value of bookings. So it gives us an overview of everybody, and then you can then click on an employee itself, and this will then give you the breakdown at the side. So you can see outside we've got the dates of the appointments, what the services are, the client's name, and also the values. So it's a great report to look at how you're doing as a salon, so what we've got coming in for the next week and the next month. And we can also look at how we're doing, so what we can do to try and increase. So for example, some of our clients look at this daily, some look at it weekly and plan ahead. So if you notice that you print this off for the week and it's looking like Sarah's really, really quiet, Kate's really, really busy, then maybe we need to do something promotional to try and increase Sarah's appointments. So it could be that we do some marketing, we send out our text in, or we send out an email to try and boost that period. Or we can also set goals for our staff to upsell and rebook services in. So hopefully we can get our staff feel pretty quiet, and this is the value that we're looking at for that period. So why don't you upsell more services and get more appointments rebooked? Hence when you're looking at your reports, it's going to show that you've got an increase in those services. So at the side, like I was saying, is a breakdown of each employee, and then as I said, it's got the dates. So again, it could be that you look at these, Kate's busy, but actually on Tuesday she's quiet, so she might be busy overall, but she's got a quieter day. So it helps you to drill down into those quieter days as well, and the quieter employees, and be able to focus on those areas, either by setting goals for your staff to upsell, rebooking services in, or maybe we could look at doing some promotional offers as well. So just to show you our monthly one as well. So the monthly one gives you an idea of how we're doing for the month. So we might be having a quiet week, but overall for the month we might be doing really well. It also gives you an idea of rebookings, gives you a rough idea if people are rebooking in for appointments. So therefore your monthly one is always going to be higher. Brilliant. So that's our future appointments report. So the next one that we're going to look at is our rebooking breakdown. So how to locate this report. So this report, again, into Tools, Reports, it's under Employees and it's called the rebooking breakdown. So again, this report can be run for any time period, although the suggested period is last month, as well as quarterly for performance reviews. The report can be run for the entire salon as well as individual employees. So this one really is looking at who's getting their clients to rebook back in. And I'll talk to you in a short while of how we monitor, so how that actually works within Shortcuts. So the rebooking breakdown is here. I'm just going to go back a step. I've just clicked too far. There we go. So this gives you an overview of the salon as a whole. So you can see overall the client visits, the rebookings that have been made, and the rebooking percentage of the salon. And then you'll see underneath on the pie chart itself, it then breaks it down into our employees, so we can see who's our highest rebooker and who's not rebooking much. So the entire salon rebooking and the employee percentage. So our hot tip is to increase your rebooking and boost future revenue. Have a rebooking competition between your staff members. Peter is the winner for February. So what we would recommend is just doing a friendly competition. Print this out, pop it in the staff room. Put it up and just let everybody, hopefully you've got competitive staff and they can bounce off each other and they can try and win. It could just be a prize, although some people do build this into their commissions, so they will pull up the rebooking breakdown and they will give a commission. So once you get over a particular rebooking, then they can then build in a commission into that as well. So for this report to work, we just need to make sure that your rebooking is set up at point of sale. So you should have the option when you're in point of sale and taking a bill, it should flag up to say, do you want to book the next appointment? To which you say yes, you then book the appointment, and then it asks if you want to give employee credit. So the employee credit actually affects this report. So if you pull this report up and there's no figures in there or very, very limited, then you might not be using that rebooking effectively. So when it comes up and asks, do you want to give employee credit, the employee credit goes to the person that rebooked the appointment. So we can see who's rebooking. It's not done based on that client booking in again. There's a little bit of work that you guys need to do. So if you need any help with that, then please just give us a call and we can help you make sure that that's turned on. But as I said, you do need that information to be up and running for this report to actually give you the breakdown that you need it to give. Brilliant. Okay, so our top selling products. So now what we're going to look is our products, and then we're going to hit on our services. So again, under tools and reports and under stock, we've got a report called top selling products. So this report can be run again for any time period, although the suggested period is last month as well as last quarter. So what this report is showing us is basically it's giving us a breakdown of your product sales. So it's showing us which products are selling best and which products are not selling so well. So you'll see that it breaks them down by manufacturer. Then you've got the product name itself, how many you've sold, you've got the total value of sales, and then you've got a profit column. So it's given us an idea of how many have been sold and how much that's brought in. So as I said, it will also show you those that are not selling as well. The profit comes from the difference between the buy price and the sell price, and that will give the profit. So again, another report that we just need to make sure that what's in Shortcuts is correct. So you need to make sure that you've got your buy prices in, and that make sure that your if they are in as well, that they are correct. So it just means that it will work out what your profit is. So we can have a look and we can see which products are more profitable. And we can also see which products are selling well, which products are not selling as well. And then again, with this information, we can then try and push. So we could look at what's not selling so well and maybe try and push that product for a period of time. So you could pick a feature product, do some staff training on it and try and push that product. It can also tell you that sometimes staff don't like the product or they're not that confident using a product, so therefore they don't sell it. And if that's the case, then again, it's down to the training. You know, you might want to train on a particular product itself, or it could be a complete company of products. It could be that the staff are not 100% on the whole range of products, and again, it's just that you need to invest in that training to get them selling. So a couple of different things that we can do. We can look at how the staff are selling it, so have a chat with the staff, and then we can also look at picking a particular product and putting that as our product of the month or of the week and get our staff selling that product to try and bump it up a little bit. Because you'll find that you'll have your best sellers are always at the top. They're the ones that people are really, really comfortable with. So really what we want to be doing is looking at the middle to bottom ones, and we want to be looking at what we can do to really push those products and try and get all of our products selling particularly well. As I said, if you've got your profit as well, you can see which ones have got the biggest profit margin. So again, they're brilliant products to be pushing. We need to get our staff pushing those. Means there's more money coming in for you guys then as well. So now we're going to have a nosy at our top selling services. So this report, again, it's very, very similar to our top selling products. So this report, again, it's over any time period and it's under tools, reports, services, and it's our top selling services. There's just a little bit of a delay in between me clicking on screen, so if you see that it goes a little bit quiet in between, that's all it is. So this report, if I just go back a step so we can see the report itself. So you'll see that it's breaking down our services. So we've got our category, we've got our services, our quantity sold, value of sales, and then the average charge for services. So the average charge for service may change. So if your service is more than that average charge, then what that takes into consideration is if any prices have been changed or any discounts have been given. Now there is a discount report that you can pull up, so if discounts have been given you can get that information, but obviously if people are just changing prices, then that money's just technically disappeared, if you like. So it's good, it gives you an idea of, you might look at that and think, well, that's not how much that service is, so then you can go and investigate, well, we didn't do a promotion, we haven't got any discounts available at the moment, so why was that price changed? Gives you a little bit of an insight into what's going on with your services, making sure that staff aren't changing prices when they shouldn't be. This report also gives you an idea about upselling. So we can look at our services, and it might be that we've got, for example, with our hair services, we might have lots and lots of colours going through, but we've got very, very few conditioning treatments. So we know then that we need to be getting our stylists to be upselling the conditioning treatments. After somebody's had a colour, they can then do an upsell with a treatment, and it could be that people are having manicures and not having pedicures, that kind of thing. So we can look at services that correspond and see where we can try and increase our upselling. So what services go together. We could even then look at maybe creating packages that then incorporate those two together to try and boost our lower services. So as I said, there's a few little things that you can pull out of this report, and it sometimes highlights services that sell a lot that maybe it's a surprise. You might think that your, for example, cotton blow dries or a particular facial are your best selling services, but sometimes when you look at this report you can be pleasantly surprised that maybe that's not your most popular service, there is something else that's more popular. And again, we can set up competitions for upselling certain services. So again, when we're looking at these both the products and the services are lesser selling products and services, we could look at those and see if we can maybe set them for a competition for the staff, the person that upsells them the most. So, for example, conditioning treatments, the person that upsells the most conditioning treatments over the next month will then get a £10 gift voucher or a free product or something that they can work towards. So it's always worth getting your staff upselling, but by using these reports you're getting them to upsell where you need them to upsell, so your least selling services and products. So you'll see our hot tip there, bundle top selling products and services together for a super promotion. So you could put your services and products together, but you could also do it with your lesser services and products, bundle them together as a promotion. So if somebody has this service and then they can have this product at a discounted price. Brilliant. Okay. So that's our services. So again, we just need to look at those, analyse them, and work. You need to decide what will work for you and your employees. Fab. So now we move on to our employee performance. This is one of my favourite reports. Under Tools, Reports, Employees and Performance Summary. So this report again can be run for any time period, although we recommend it's last month as well as quarterly for performance reviews. Yeah, this is one of our favourite reports, and it's been with Shortcuts since the beginning of time, but it's one of the better reports that we've got, and it gives you a lot of information about your employees. Fab. So the report itself is broken down by employee, and when you're actually searching that miscellaneous option, there's an employee option as well at the side, so you can actually choose it for the whole salon, or you could choose it for one employee, which is great because it means that if you're doing a performance review, then you may want to just pull it off for one person, and then you can just look at their figures with them. So you've got all your employees down the side. It gives you a breakdown of how many clients they've done during that period. And then it breaks down into our service. Now these are our report categories, and it shows the value and how many services. So you may notice that your figures across the top don't match with your clients. It's how many services, not how many clients. And then, as I said, you've got the value underneath. You've got the total retail. So that's how many retail products have been sold. And then you've got the total retail in value. You've got sundry, which are gift certificates. Now, most people sell their gift certificates through business, so that shouldn't show up. But if you do set up a promotion, or you've got employees, you want to target how many gift certificates they sell, then it will show up on this report. You've got your service value overall, and then you've got your total. So your total is your retail, your sundry and your service together. And overall that will give you an average client bill. So just to explain about the report categories themselves. So for the information to show, you need to make sure that your services are all assigned to one of the 10 report categories. So these would have all been set up for you when we did your initial install. And when you're added in any services, you just must always make sure that at the bottom you'll see that there's 10 tick boxes for your report categories. You must always make sure that a service is assigned, and it's only assigned to one. So it may be that you need to just go through and have a little bit of a tidy up. And there could be a couple of services that are assigned to 2 report categories, in which case the figures will then show in both. So it's always worth just having a tidy up with them every now and then. So as I said, this is a great report to get the information per employee, and then it gives you a total at the bottom overall, and the average client bill. So the average client bill is basically, it's giving you an idea as to whether your employees are upselling. or not. So hopefully they're selling lots of retail and they're selling lots of services. And an idea for this is usually we would say it's about £10 above your most popular service. So when you're taking this into consideration, your average client bill should be about £10 over your most popular service. So if that's a cut and blow dry at say 35, then our average client bill should be £45 at least. This means that the staff are upselling both retail, colours and extra services. And you can also set a target against this average client bill as well. So again, when you've got your performance reviews, you could look at a client average and then you could just say to them, right, okay, this is what we're working towards, and then you could then maybe sit down with them once a month and just review their average client, and hopefully this will then get them upselling more services and more retail. So that just explains what we've just been through. So the next report we're going to have a look at is our employee ranking. So again, another one of our great reports, a really good one that you can print out and stick in the staff room. So again, under tools, into our reports, under employees, and there's one called ranking. So again, this report can be run for any time period, although the suggested period is last month, and again quarterly for your performance reviews, so pretty similar to the employee performance. And sharing this report with staff can create healthy competition. So fingers crossed, you start printing this out, you can hopefully see a bit of a difference in your staff and then push in more services and products. So the employee ranking basically ranks them 1 to 9. So there's nine different categories that they're ranked on. So you'll see that the first ones are our service, product, and our total overall. So our service value, so we'll see that Kate's top there. So she's the one that brings in the most in services. Then we see our products. So actually Harry's top on products. So it could be that he's on reception, or it could just be that he's a junior, or he's just really, really good at talking about products. And then we've got our total. So our total overall, so you'll see that Kate comes out top. Now sometimes that's not always the case. We could have somebody that's second in the products and second in the services, so therefore they'd probably come out top overall. So it's a great report to look at for overall. We've also got our service by hour, our product by hour, and our guests. So this is great if we've got if we've got a mixture of part-time staff and full-time staff. Then the services by hour and also the average service product and average ticket at the bottom take into consideration the by hour takes into consideration their working hours, and the average ticket takes into consideration how many clients they've done. So it's great if you've got a mixture of people, because then the by hour is actually looking at the hours that they've worked. So we're making sure that it could be that our part-time people are top on this one. So our full-time stylists aren't probably as effective with their appointments as they could be, and our part-time staff are working just that little bit harder in the time that they're in. So again, it's great because it's fair on every employee then, not just those that are working full-time. So again, it's a great one to look at who's doing well and who's not doing so great, and at what areas. So again, service, products, so somebody might be doing great in services but really badly in products, so they just need a little bit of help, or vice versa, they might be selling products that the products are flying out the door from that employee, but then the services aren't that great. So again, do they need some more training? Do they need some more help? So as an owner, it's helping, or as owner manager, it's helping you to break down exactly where there's any issues. You can kind of pinpoint a few things. Educate your staff as well, so guarantee you that a lot of them don't have any ideas about these numbers. So by getting them posted in the staff room just means that you're giving them a bit of an insight into what they're doing. and then hopefully it will increase that healthy competition and people will want to be number one. So fingers crossed they'll start trying to upsell and trying to increase what's coming in for you. So our hot tip, giving staff goals to raise their average, the product ticket, average service ticket or overall. So those average service product and ticket prices at the bottom, may be more successful approach to growing totals. So that means that we're selling more to our clients. So it doesn't matter how many clients we've got coming through the door, we're selling more to those people that are coming in. Cool. So that takes us to the end. We've gone through that pretty quickly, but it just gives us an idea on some of the reports that you can utilise within Shortcuts. Obviously, there's a whole host of reports within Shortcuts, and it would be recommended that you go through them when you've got a little bit of time and pinpoint the reports that are right for you. But as I said, we've just given you a couple of reports that we like to use and that we think are great for pinpointing where we can look to increase our products or services or just measure our employee performance. So hopefully now you can use those tools, so those reports that we talked about, and try and increase your income coming through into the salon. Cool. So now we're going to take our questions. So I'm just going to go through my questions board and see what we've got. Somebody's just asked a question about the webinars that we've run in the past, so I'll get to that on the next page. Can this report be looked at ex-VAT? So a lot of the figures that we've got, the reports can be looked at ex-VAT and inclusive of VAT. So you'll see, as I said earlier, with the miscellaneous option on all the reports, if you're able to, it will be in that miscellaneous option. All of our reports are usually excluding VAT. So it takes the VAT off first, so the figures that you're looking at are actually your salon's figures. They don't include that VAT breakdown. If you want to look at it inclusive, then you can just change it in the miscellaneous options. How do you take certain employees out of the report for ranking? You can't actually take any of the employees out because it's based on their overall take. Now, if somebody's not doing so great, then they'll drop down the bottom. And if you've got more than 10 employees, then obviously they're going to drop off at the end. But unfortunately, it's just giving you an idea of the salon overall. So with the ranking, it's going to rank everybody. So if you, as an owner or manager, are in that report and you're one of the top, then really you're looking at space. If you're always number one, then really what we're doing is we're striving for number two. So we're looking for all your staff to get to number two, or even hopefully they can get to number one and push you off a little bit. Cool. Any other questions? Fab. There doesn't seem... Oh. Cool. Okay. Fab. So our next webinar is on Monday the 28th of April and it's at 10 AM. This webinar is going to be covering our online booking. So anybody that's got online booking or is thinking about having online booking, come along, join in. And it's covering some of the new functionality that we've got within online booking. So there's been a few new features that have been included recently, which hopefully you've seen on our emails. But if you want to come along and have a nosy at what's new and what you can do, then by all means jump on. If you want to register, it's at www.shortcuts.co.uk/webinars. So any of our webinars that are coming up, we should hopefully be posting the next 2 or 3 on there over the next couple of days. And if you've missed any of our webinars at all, then all of them are on our website. So again, www.shortcuts.co.uk/webinars. On there, you'll see a link to every webinar that we've done so far. So feel free to have a go through those and just go and have a look. If there is anything that anybody thinks that they would like to have as a topic, so there's anything that comes to mind that you'd really like us to be going through with our webinars, then by all means just let us know and we'll take it into consideration when we plan our next slot. If you need to contact me, then by all means, there's my email address, so by all means ping me an email, or you can just contact us on the 01619724900 number. All the questions I will cover it. I will email them out to you with the answers, so if I have missed any by accident, then I will pop them all onto an email at the end. And hopefully you've enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you at the next one. Thank you.